Give it a couple more minutes.
Yeah, Glenn's just round up.
Now let's bring it in.
Don't let him in with it. I said it's alright, that person.
Might wrap up now. Look, there's people on this table.
I asked she's already made her apologies.
My asking.
Yes,
she's
Nasking. This
So we'll make a start if that's all right with you. Well, thank you very much for coming. Today we're going to be looking at improving questioning, as you can see from the PowerPoint. Now, from our recent Ofsted, one of the points that was brought up was our need to push our top-end pupils with a greater number of A's and A stars and putting methods that we can use to actually reduce the difference between boys and girls' attainment. So what we're looking at today is methods that we can use to improve our questioning. So what can you
Basically we've been on a course for the last few weeks to do with outstanding teaching, and the whole purpose was they trialled this activity with us, and we actually found it's quite useful because we realised we weren't actually doing certain things that we should be doing to push our higher order pupils. So, which Phil's going to take you on with the first activity.
Right, well, the first activity, each group has an item on their desk. We're not going to name them, but we have a small silver item over there on Mr. Reedy's desk, on here, and obviously the shoe on the last desk here. Now, your first task today, if you could, is to write down as a group 3 questions that you would ask your class about this item. If you would please use the post-its on the desk and come up with as a group 3 questions that you would ask to your class about the item on your table, please.
Which giant was that?
You're not allowed at the...
You can join the table, please, Mr. Hewitt.
Which table would you like?
Any, sir, your choice.
Any other questions? Why have we only got one sheet?
Yeah.
Where's the other one?
Yeah, but then you need another question.
The first questions are going to find out.
Yes.
I'm not going to find out what it's used for.
Yeah, what's
Don't forget the sport.
Is there what
Just be a
question?
winner.
What's that? That's a proper question. Yeah. Why?
Do you feel like you're at university when Carol's like, oh, what questions would you ask for the poet?
Type of shoe. Come on, Gail, hit us with something intelligent.
We only need 3 questions.
Oh, we only need 3? Yeah.
Yes, 3 is good. That's good.
No.
I know which questions they
Can I join?
Pick your nose.
Nose picker.
Okay, about 1 more minute, please, ladies and gents. 1 more minute.
Just asking questions about this shoe, Mr. B.
Right, whose is it?
Well, we've got which giant does this belong to? Why only one shoe? And what sort of person would wear this type of shoe? Can you think of anything?
That's a choice, isn't it? We've only got 2.
Okay, last 20 seconds, please, ladies and gents.
You can actually fit both my feet in there.
What's embarrassing, that shoe is 10 sizes bigger than mine.
It's 11, is it? Size 11?
13?
Okay, if we bring this back in 5 seconds. 3, 2, 1. Thank you very much, ladies and gents. Now, from what we've looked at, what we're looking at here is actually questionable. One of the tools we use for this is Bloom's taxonomy. Now, the version we're looking at here is a revised version from 2001. What it's actually showing us is a hierarchy of questioning types. Now, at the bottom here, just slightly covered up, is remembering, moving up to understanding, applying, analysing, evaluating and creating. Now, as the hierarchy goes, we're aiming for our more able pupils and to push them further to getting higher up here towards the analysing, evaluating and eventually creating. So what I'd like to do next as the next task is to nominate 2 members from your group to bring up your questions. and place them where you think they should be in these 6 sections. Is your question asking the children to remember, understand, apply, analyse, evaluate, or create, please?
Don't change any of your questions though now. Don't change any of your questions. That's creating.
Why only one shoe? Is that evaluating?
I'd say
That would have worked, that would have exactly, but that's the first thing.
There's a question here, I don't know. Why are they in the shed?
You're only sticking them to the board. So
I don't have to read them out.
Support for that,
As a
I like why you're
Well,
there.
we didn't go with the big socks one, did we?
You know what they say about big
Well, this one's a stroke, like, oh.
What's it like?
It moves on.
Yeah.
It's certainly one book.
Ah.
Always thinking
how
creation.
good is it as a
What else?
not quite creative yet, are we?
Still waiting to start.
Yes, we are. We are a member of the far table, but no one,
To be a
please.
winner, what qualities do you need? You evaluate skills, don't you?
Good question.
Understanding the blind.
I'm glad we put that
We have a member of the group who wants to take one of them and be, please. It's a yad, it's actually using Jewish religion to let them read the Torah scroll because you're not supposed to touch the sacred text. So they use that as
They left
point
into
to
you.
read. Yes. Okay, ladies and gents, could I please ask for a member from each group to come and join us at the front?
Nina.
One member from each group, please. Otherwise, I will start choosing individuals. Thank you, Mr. Jackson, Mr. Hewitt.
Thanks, miss. I knew it should be sat on that table. Getting bullied.
Okay, can I ask, could the 3 of you have a quick look at the questions that are on these sections and chat amongst yourselves and decide, do you think they belong in that group and are any you change the position of?
Oh, where are we changing it to?
Why is that creating?
Ah, okay.
Why only one shoe? So you need an understanding.
And why is that creating? Because there is a set answer for that, isn't there? Sounds like it is.
Yeah, you're not creating the answers, are you?
That's what I mean, so it's like it shouldn't be
No, it
creating.
Go on, Nina. Go on, Nina.
So what do you think is good?
Change it, change it.
What, that question?
Oh, sorry.
I don't think you're that higher and
Because it's got, it's like why the tradition in the shape of a cup, so it is there's actually, it's not creating an answer, the answer will be there. So, find your knowledge or you remember.
You're reading something.
We don't have to read Yeah, but so maybe.
The doctor who
That was the science.
And I found one that like, I found I've got to that stuff and then I forgot about it. I found another one on my desk and it was like,
Are you Glenn's dad? Nicky's mum. Why is our best friend? Like a 3-year-old. Their best friend's out there, not in it.
Alright, is there any more you'd like to change? No? Right, if you want to go in groups again.
Right, okay, can I move you along? Right, so you can see whereabouts more of the questioning we aimed for. So remembering, understanding, some analysis in there, creating, but we're lacking the application and possibly more evaluation. So what I'm going to ask you to do now is a sort card activity. And in each pack, you've got these headings, and you've got 6 words which apply under to each heading, plus a question which applies to each heading. So what we're trying to get you to understand is maybe key words you would use to help you question in each of these topics. Okay, so in a group, if you can sort these under the right heading, so if you want to shift everything out of your way.
I've removed the
Yeah, on it.
Oh, there's lots of things.
So the red cards are your
Need to
headings,
sort the red
and the
ones
green
out.
cards are questions
So
which
there's
apply
6 of the
maybe-
yellows for each
Red
of
ones
the
at the
headings.
moment.
Oh,
That's
there's
okay.
6. I was going to say there's a lot of yellows.
6 yellow words to each heading.
Oh, right, okay, right. Oh, crikey, there's a lot. Right, start putting them out.
I don't know
your name. What's
So the green
Green
is
are
question,
questions,
question,
key words.
and the yellow are key words.
How's it
which apply
going?
to each.
Putting them out of the desk.
Should we do the questions first?
Shall we do questions and answers? Right, okay.
Explaining your own words.
So that's... Is
Analysing.
that not understanding?
What is?
Is that applying?
Could be advising, could be anything.
I'll see. Do some of this then first.
How would you organise?
Is that
Lying.
that with applying?
Can you construct a model?
Nice, nice,
Well
Brendan.
done,
How would you prioritise? Analyse. What evidence can you find? And what does it imply?
What evidence can you find? And what does it
Evaluating.
What is?
What is?
Oh,
What
yeah,
is remembering?
perfect. Right, so let's pick words out now. So, develop.
What was? Remember implies
6
past.
words for
Oh, yeah.
Oh my god, there's too many things.
Well, apply definitely goes with applying.
Just put them anywhere.
Yeah.
Apply, applying. Discuss. That's understanding.
Practice.
Check. Check. Understanding.
Analysing.
Construct is create.
Categorise.
Demonstrate is
Oh, it could be anyone. I don't know.
demonstrate. Oh my god.
Too many words.
And so little time.
Argue. Compare.
There is evaluate.
Yeah.
Develop. Sorry.
Categorise.
Calculate.
That'd be easy.
Analyse.
Design.
Calculate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Design. Yeah. What about identify? Remember.
Memorise it, remember.
That could be remembering as well.
Yeah. Sketch.
Review.
Is that create?
Let's remember. Oh, evaluate.
Invent. Create. Judge. That'd be evaluate. Yeah. Oh no.
Retrieve.
Louise.
Listen. Issue. Choose. Monitor. Examine.
Just can't get the help nowadays.
Retrieve.
I believe that's the one you picked out on.
Oh yeah. Come here. Compare. Remembering test.
Yeah. Test. Right. Understand. Oh no, it's apply. Summarise. Is that test? No, remember. Summarise. Remembering.
Or understanding.
Yeah.
Monitor. Is that
Evaluate. Analyse. Don't know. Oh God.
monitor? Too many choices. Pause. Is that analyse? Understand.
Deconstruct is surely analyse.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And support as well.
Pause. What have we got left?
Develop.
Describe.
Creative.
Is understanding.
Could be, yeah.
Arrange. Remembering. Is examine.
Describe
remembering
what
as
to be
well?
creating.
6 for each. 6 for each.
Well, we've got a lot left.
There's 6 for each.
Locate. Is that apply?
Yeah.
Question. Analyse. Oh, I'd go
I
evaluate.
would evaluate.
Explain.
Neil, you're good.
Fire! Prepare. Is that create? 6. Plant, monitor, choose, go compare.
If you're choosing something,
Oh, we've got two compares.
One's spelled correctly and one's not.
Compares, it means it applies to different.
We'll have comer there. We'll have comer. Is that food in Spanish? Comer to eat.
Comer to eat,
yeah.
It could be analysing as well. Spanish first.
Gail said it's
Yeah, right, and then we've got retrieve, choose, monitor and plan.
Is retrieve remembering?
yes it is.
Yeah, it can't be because we've already got 6.
Well, let's see what we got there.
Examine.
Yeah, demonstrate and supply. Yeah.
Okay.
Plan.
Remembering.
Plan, monitor.
Creating plan.
Plan.
No, we've not. No.
Construct, sketch, develop. Is that creating? Is develop not?
Or is applying?
Analysis.
Develop might be planning.
Plan. Choose and monitor.
Where are we down on numbers?
Choose,
applying,
choose.
isn't it?
We've got evaluating here. Choose is applying. Do you think?
Understanding.
Choose
It
is
might be there
evaluating.
because would that go in? Choose is evaluating.
Well, it's either that or
Examine.
There is 6 for each. So
Think of a question that's got choose in it.
Choose 6 of these.
Monitor understanding.
Choose the right. Tomato. I'm not remembering.
Because if it was remembering, it'd be like choose the
Analyse,
correct
not be
definition, you'd be
monitor.
remembering.
Yeah.
Something.
Oh, maybe.
But
What's that say?
You
Monitor.
said prepare then. Prepares also.
When you're monitoring, like,
You're
looking at
analysing
something
something like that.
yeah.
You're not yet.
In detail.
So, not understanding.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Boom!
I don't think there's one right answer anyway.
I think it's very personal.
Yeah, it's very selective.
It is.
I'd have to agree, there are in general words that would clearly go into some of them, but many, one thing that we'll look at later is how we, but how we may change what we place within that word, or what we put around that word to actually change the question as well. It's something we'll look at later on. I agree that many of these words could go into each category, but some of them are quite clear. Which one would you choose as the most clearly, the best one for using for creating? Which one would you choose there?
Construct.
Yeah, I like
Construct. Right, so there's definitely a making element to it there. Right. Does the design, would you see that different to invent and construct, the design side?
I like design better.
Design comes first.
I'd have to agree. Why so? Why would you say design is better than construct?
If you're designing, you're making choices as to what materials are going to be used before you exactly. If you construct something, you can just construct a tower of sausages.
Because I raise the same point that we can often send children on a task, just construct something, and it's great to use imagination and use the skills that they already have, but we really pushing them further. All they're actually doing in that sense, to me, is applying the skills and imagination they currently have. Whereas to design is to start incorporating evaluation, analysis of materials, methodology, and so on and so forth, but then to actually put it into practice, which brings it up to creating environments. So there are some words that I believe, if we had to ask you to put these yellow ones into a hierarchy as well, as some that are quite clearly stronger than others and push to a stronger skill.
Would like us to do that to push us further?
It would be a
As a
good
group that have already
possibility.
finished.
However, I think we are hoping to wrap it up quite soon.
Okay.
Thank you very much for your excellent suggestions, however. There will be an evaluation sheet later on if you
Okay,
so
that'd
wish
be
to add
good.
that on.
Well, we are the gifted and talented.
Well, of course, Mr. Bames sat there, so you must be.
Okay, we're not having
I don't think that's
remembrance.
Mrs. to make sure that
I hate the word.
You will now.
You will now.
I like to judge. And argue.
Not review.
No. Arguing and judging, I'm good at those things.
I'm good at comparing.
Is that a car?
Demonstration involves understanding.
They've not even formally organised it. They've still not decided where they want to and this one are now reorganising compared to
By rights, we should be being naughty now.
Absolutely.
No.
We've got a phone. We should be being Brendan. Let's start
Give me
Bluetoothing each
makeup
other.
on. Start brushing my being cute brushes.
Okay, can we call out time on this section, please? Thank you very much. Ms. Wilkinson.
Right, first of all, what I want to ask each group is, as a group, I want you to pick one word that you wouldn't use within your teaching and try and explain why you wouldn't use that as part of your questioning. So if we give you 60 seconds.
Please don't choose comment.
Are we that predictable?
Yes.
I wouldn't use monitor because I don't know how to use it.
I think it's a silly
I don't think I'd use monitor either.
As a group, are there any words in here that you
Even now, it's
Are there any words in here that Miss Munoz shows you?
I don't really say that.
You would say monitor. Science.
30 seconds.
I'd never say sketch.
No.
Sketch.
Yeah, over there, sketch under creating.
Yeah, I wouldn't. Well, no, I wouldn't.
Why not?
Monitor. Why? I can't use it.
You.
Same people that laughed at me a minute ago.
We'll tell you a minute.
I don't use sketch because I don't think it's relevant for anything that I
down
do.
at remembering, so you've seen it as a lower order skill. So what word would you replace it with? Use a question to a higher order question. What word would you change memorise to?
I said deconstruct with year 11 when I was about picking apart the
What
words.
would you don't deconstruct?
I might not say calculate either.
Oh no, I said it today, when you give out numbers to your success criteria for points.
Say that.
When I get the
If somebody goes into some sort of heart seizure.
I wouldn't use sketch.
What would you use calculate for?
I
No,
would.
I never use it.
Calculate
10 seconds.
Don't ever do it.
Monitor.
Is that something I often say and then purposely putting numbers into things?
I
wouldn't say test.
Numerous
Hate the word test.
Oh,
Testing, yeah. I thought you meant like at test. Yeah, I don't say at test, I say at task.
Right, can we stop you there?
I'll put on the
Yeah, as a verb.
Alright, what we want from each group is basically for someone to explain, well, say which word you've chosen that you wouldn't use in your lesson and explain why. So can we start with the Martin?
Or monitor.
They said that they're not going to use or they don't use deconstruct, but I'm going to use it on purpose tomorrow.
But why wouldn't you use the word deconstruct?
Because there's not an awful lot of things to deconstruct.
At all. Would anyone else use the word deconstruct?
I would.
In what sense?
If I'm looking at a text, I might ask the students to deconstruct the paragraphs or the language within the text.
Right, so it could be a way of analysing different texts that you've got in front of you. Alright, the middle table. Go on.
Yeah, I think I would use it depending on what set I'm teaching. If it's top set or GNT group, yeah, I think suppose it's a formula, we can deconstruct it. In other words, we can rearrange the formula, making A the subject or making B the subject. In other words, moving around the letters, we're actually deconstructing. So yeah, it's something I would go for.
But I would use the rearranging rather than deconstruct. Because in exams, it won't say deconstruct the formula, it will say rearrange the formula.
Yeah,
correctly.
exactly.
That's why I would use it for that.
Is there a word chosen by the middle group that they wouldn't use often themselves?
You didn't like memorise.
Oh yeah.
His memory is going
My memory is good. I know we discussed this ourselves and again spoke to your group, but for what reason, why would you choose not to use memorise?
Because we promote raw learning by memorizing things. And obviously, if you memorize something without understanding it, you will forget it. But if you understand, obviously, you will remember it for a very long time.
We discussed changing the word memorise and talked about using words such as understand, using the example you gave of finding area. Yeah. Are there ways you could move the example of finding area up further up this hierarchy of questioning? Are there ways that you could go beyond understanding as well?
Basically, it all depends on where you're coming from with the lesson. Suppose if it's area, if you break it down into bits, suppose you start off with, I don't know, square triangles, or squares rather, unit squares. You tell them that way of to find the area of a rectangle. We actually are counting the unit squares inside that rectangle. So if you've got 3 for the length, 2 for the width, then obviously the number of them inside, or the area inside, is actually 6. So one way of doing it is to times the length by the width. So if you use it that way, they will understand exactly why they are multiplying the length and the width. Right. So if you do it that way, I think it will make them remember it for quite a long time.
I know the maths department have done quite a bit of work on this. Mr. Zaho, how would you, I know with the rich tasks that they do in maths, how would that sort of activity that Mr. Tepp has spoken about possibly be moved up towards the height at the very top of it, possibly creative? Is there a way you could see for them to use that?
There was a functional task specific to design a bedroom that was very much linked to sort of area and understanding, the concept that Mr. Tepp was explaining through lengths and width. So if the foundations are embedded, obviously, then you'll be able to tackle these type of functional rich tasks afterwards.
Excellent.
Okay, moving on to this table, what word wouldn't you use?
The maths department aren't going to like it. We chose calculate.
Why would you use calculate?
Because I think for the subjects that we teach, we don't necessarily calculate anything.
In what sense would someone use calculate other than the maths department? Would anyone in here use the term calculate as form of questioning?
Just if there's a certain amount of beats in a bar and a mathematics play, A bars, 16 bars, how many beats? They've got to do it's calculation. I wouldn't necessarily use the word calculate.
Yeah, I'd do it in dance, but I'd only use the word if I was supporting numeracy on purpose.
Right, okay, so part of the literacy and numeracy.
Mr. Owens?
In geography, usually loads. You're calculating all sorts, population density,
Plenty in DT as well, cost of materials.
It's not just your department, in my source now, there's a lot to do with calculating materials and budgeting and things like that as well.
Absolutely.
Could be used to make a judgment on something as well, a higher order, calculate the risk of something.
So there's still possibly pros and cons and use the concept of calculation to see which side is favourable.
Yeah.
Move on back to the board.
Alright, I will at this point, if that's okay with you, I'll be choosing one member of each group to possibly come up to the front and have a look at the 3 questions that remain on the board. So if I could possibly choose to come up Mr. Reedy, Miss Benini or Miss Helm, if you wouldn't mind just joining us into the room for a moment, please. I've left 3 of the questions that you've written in the centre of this board. 3 specifically chosen, and I'd like, if possible, the 3 of you to discuss between you where you'd place this, and hopefully so that the other groups can hear you and perhaps think about the decisions you've made.
Should we read the questions aloud first of all?
Where do you want to place it?
We've got, how did we win it? Which giant does this belong to? Why are rewards traditionally in the shape of a cup? So you want us to put them in the...
Yeah, if you could discuss where you believe you place them, please.
How did we win it? Could go in creating, couldn't it? Because you could just come up with your own
Like a story,
yeah.
an idea.
Yeah.
Okay.
Which giant does it come to?
Which giant does this belong to?
Well, I think that if we're talking about the same, that again, it's well, picking up on that. You could be creating their own something afterwards.
So all of those could go in creating.
But which are these listed as giants and you're choosing which one?
Only 2 out of 3 off this
Yeah,
table.
how did we win it? Picking up on.
Why are rewards traditionally shaped of a cup? Yeah, that could be just remembering. Maybe it could be analysed.
Mr. Hewitt, and they've both gone in the higher order of questioning.
Would they not have done the analysing beforehand and then that's the...
That comes in all the after understanding,
Well, they have to understand something first. Yes, well, they analyse. First of all, the question itself.
Could it actually be an art write a draw and comic?
No, I'd go back to them to say
And it has to be green.
Did you think understand Jan understand what it is that's happening?
You've got analysis already.
Middle level leaders
as well.
So which giant does this belong to? I'm going to create it.
Oh yeah, well, I don't know, is it, are they not doing this?
Applying the knowledge of different
Yeah, of different, well not just the information that they've already got, because if they've got all the things about different...
Okay, you're about 20 more seconds.
Are we not massive feet? We had shoes.
How are you going to
You're not happy with shoes, where would you place it?
Mr. Reedy wants to climb
Because it's mentioned giant, that's why.
Alright, you're happy with that? Thank you very much for taking
Thank
this.
you.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, our three, I'll say volunteers, decided to place the questions as such. How did we win it? I'm assuming regarding the trophy, into evaluating. Which giant does this belong to? I'm assuming that's regarding the shoe. Right.
Jenny thought it might have been various giants.
That's right. Into analysis. And finally, why are awards traditionally in the shape of a cup? Into understanding. Are there any that really stand out there that members of the group think they would place somewhere vastly different? So are we all happy with the three sections that they currently occupy?
The how did we win it could be on a few different levels.
In what sense?
You get, yeah, because you can remember it, you can understand maybe how you win by using teamwork and different things, and then you can analyse it and go deeper and say because every team member was dedicated and turned up for practice and you could go into all different levels with that.
I agree, it's quite a broad question at that stage. Anybody thought, why are awards traditionally in the shape of a cup? We all agree that understanding is the best place for that question to be.
Yeah, I think it could be creating as well, because you may not know the answer, so you've got to be creative in mind, you know.
Okay. Alright, we'll leave that for now and move on to the next task. Sorry, Ms. Wilkinson.
Yeah. Questions 6 learner bits, we've done that. Right, okay. What we've got here is 3 different random subject sheets that's probably maybe out of your own subject level. What we want you to do is to come up with 2 questions for each part of the Bloom's topics to do with this subject. So the first one is exploring the negative effects of alcohol, exploring levers, and the other one is exploring weather. And in pairs, you've got to come up with questions that you would use to discuss those different topics. So,
You can't think of anything negative about alcohol.
no, it's how you teach it.
For those who may be struggling a little, there is the hierarchy of Bloom's questioning on the board. So have a look at buzzwords and sentences to describe these ones to you as well.
Oh, are you?
There are 2 questions, it's actually 4. There are 2 questions for each section. So, that will be 2 questions that you remember when we're talking about the next one.
Oh, it's the one I didn't want.
I thought it was weather spelled W-H.
One more time.
Exploring weather.
Oh, it's alcohol.
Yes, Mr. Temple.
Did you
I hate this.
remembering?
Yeah.
For levers, there's a formula. Pivots and stuff, so remembering to do that.
Are we doing it as a pair?
Yeah, right.
Exploring the negative effects of alcohol.
Just to...
Do we have to come up with 2 any?
Let's just consider a task. Oh, I see. Is it one?
2 for each. 2 for each. Is it a question or a question? Right, okay.
For each one of these? Well, you could simply say, can you remember the formula for... What's that? It's a formula for forces, isn't it? Pivots and
Side effects of alcohol.
So we have a different
It could be something quite as simple
Sorry?
If you've already taught them.
Yes.
Yeah.
Do you remember where you put the lever? You had it last.
Something very simple. It's literally made up of understanding what the use of the lever and so on and so forth.
Gosh, I'm so bad.
What is a lever worth if you use one?
Right, well the understanding would be how you'd use it. How would you... It could be where would you put the lever to best move the object?
Is alcohol.
Describe.
What else for understanding?
We've got 2 questions for each.
Right,
far too big.
have you got to use these words?
No, I don't think so.
Oh yeah.
We've got these headings.
Wind farming.
We might get an idea from that.
Explain where.
We could put explain that.
You'd have to know.
But isn't that also applying? Because you have knowledge of the way it moves and the way it affects things, so therefore you're applying that to another concept.
You're right. In that case, we'll put that one and give her another question to go with that. So it's not as far down the road as that.
So
you're thinking about understanding how something works.
I don't forgot whether.
So just how does the lever work?
Demonstrate your understanding of the process.
Breaks down the
It's about weather.
Perhaps a more hands-on.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Could be writing it, so demonstrate.
If alcohol does this, then why would it be bad? Is that what it's saying? So you give them a bit of that. It's like
demonstrate
it's
how
like
your
that.
knowledge
It's
will
breaking
work in
down
practice.
information, so you've got this information, you
So
analyse
are
it
you've understood it, but can you show how by applying it to the situation?
So yeah, it's like
Well, you've got to be careful about these two as well because they can be overlapping. If you're analysing something, you're almost
So,
implicitly.
if you're evaluating something, it's decide whether position A or position B would be most
You're
beneficial.
comparing between, you're judging between 2 points, you're comparing your characterization, but this is going to be more difficult.
in the sub and heavy
Comparing that with your idea.
So, in a way,
I also analyse this
yeah, it gives reasons.
creating could be design.
If we gave them 2 pieces of information and
If you look on there, analyse, break these measurements, quite to explore the relationships. So to explore relationships, compare would definitely be
Ours are immense.
because we could analyse the
Look at these
relationship.
immense questions.
We're justifying a decision,
Win.
comparing the 2 options.
It's going to be a win. So what do we have for remembering as regards
I
weather?
know, but we could use judge though.
Okay, so what might you do in order to get to identify? What would you have there for instance? Some clouds.
I'm not convinced analysing the weather comparison, I wouldn't use compare there.
Would you do the jazz hands for it? Still one. Call that bit.
It can, but we're looking at the relationship.
But you don't just compare 2 relationships, you can just explore the relationship between, say, a word and its connotation.
You don't actually have to
without comparing anything.
No, you can. I don't really mean to. Could you compare it to
I would say this
The only reason why I'd be reluctant to use the word compare is because it falls under both categories, so it's therefore ambiguous. So I wouldn't use it to analyse or evaluate. I'd use a word that's definitely ambiguous to evaluate.
You'd have to have understanding of the equator and Earth's direction. Excellent. Would you not link an analysis to one of your application questions? We'll need to do one way that I have to look at these, especially on the topic I don't know, is look at it to like a high level piece of work you make in university or something where you remember to understand the simple facets first. Create a test to apply something, analyse your findings, evaluate it, and possibly create a new methodology to illustrate something. So if you can link them to one another, that would be even better.
Okay, value them. Analyse the effective words.
In a way, the evaluating is going further than analysis. Analysis is breaking it down and saying this is what works, this is making judgments.
Yeah, that's so judge why. Leave it absolutely more useful, see why.
Yeah, I've done that by analysing each
It could just be let's tell you why this leader will be useful, and then evaluate why.
That's easy then. Why do we have why does our leave the subject?
Okay, well, if we just think about it from mechanics, what do we have to apply in? Demonstrate value knowledge through practice. Okay, one of the ways we looked at this when we did the exercise was something that almost as a testing style, in which you may first have what we were calling simple information. Then the application stage, almost in science you were in high school, to put together scientific experiments to disprove or to identify information, analysing to analyse results, evaluating to make decisions, apply comparison, perhaps creation, and what way a new methodology is perhaps a new way of using levers or something to replace the lever could be a platform creation. But as far as applying and analysing goes, applying could be a test you would get perhaps 5 or 6 different levers which use best. What is a lever? Simply that simple would be a memory, would be a case of remembering. What is a lever? What are they used for? That sort of question. So you try and get one for each, that's it for you guys, just because that's one question for each.
So that one would definitely be something like
An improved better mousetrap.
Starting with remembering.
We're still stuck on yeah, so you could say how did the lever work in practice? You analyse how it works.
how well did your lever work?
Stick it.
Okay, we have 1 minute left, please. Just 1 more minute.
You can.
Why is your lever better than somebody
Yeah,
else's?
that's what I'm thinking. Yeah, or in what ways did it not fulfill? Did it not rise to the? It wasn't successful in my opinion. So you're evaluating how successful it is. Or you can simply say how successful is it.
Here's this one, how well did your lever work as an analysis?
You're right. Are there any improvements that can be made? How would you
I'm pretty hot with it. I just shout out arbitrary numbers and say last 2 minutes left, 7 minutes later we're still doing the test.
I know at least you're doing that, I do that all the time.
Okay, last 30 seconds, we just draw this to a close.
A conclusion to this one. They're all moving on. Hierarchy.
Yeah, because then you're still doing some creation based on your evaluation.
Yeah, sure.
We're involved, we're on the side of the situation.
Look at the effect.
And I've got a scientist as well. Brilliant.
Okay, can we draw that to a close, please, ladies and gents? If you can have a look back up at the electronic whiteboard, please. And the section at the bottom is to ask you to swap and assess, and I don't want this to be an arduous task, but if it's possible, to just pass your sheet to the group to your left, remaining on your table. And they could just quickly, to your left, Mr. Jackson, that'll be Miss Benigno. And perhaps have a look and see if you agree with their questions. Are they analysis? Are they evaluation?
Jealous of our work, just find these types of what it is.
Alright, tell us.
Discuss cumulative.
Pop and tick or across.
That
question is
To me,
No, because there are certain things that are good for you.
Pop and tick or across.
Yeah, even with
Good work, mate, the team. Jealous about questions. Is that why is it
Yeah, has units, sorry, I feel so right.
we got to
clearly?
Oh dear.
I clearly didn't.
Yours are very good, well done.
And that's our team name. 12 called H squared.
That discuss it. You can't really just discuss cumulonimbus, can you? So
No,
you're
what
not cumulonimbus
does to your body, what would be the long-term effects?
Cirrus cloud.
We're not going to the different names.
No, we're sorry.
We just picked one. We want them to
understand
that. They only need to understand that one cloud.
Just like justify why it's measured in units.
Why it's measured in units?
Yeah.
Sorry. Even why does alcohol have units in it?
From a scientist point of view, we should have said to evaluate the.
We weren't thinking that.
Alright, should we get to it? Evaluate the reason for measuring it in units rather than...
If what you measure, you can't really think about anything.
I like why
Quite
the government
disappointed with
has...
that one, really quick. We were...
Well, I was just about to add another one. You said to me,
That's always the way, that's what we start.
I can't believe I wrote why does alcohol have units?
That time of the day.
Too much alcohol.
Showing your knowledge on shit.
Oh, lots of knowledge.
I even argue your views on whether it always rains in Manchester and whether it always rains in why it does always rain.
No, it doesn't.
Please don't ever refer to me as that.
No.
It does because of the Pennines.
It's not raining today.
Can't if you
It's with my over the Pennines. That's where you're from. It always rains there.
Last week some negativity.
I hope the sound's not on that film.
Always rains in Manchester.
Can I ask you, did anyone say cross next to Mr. Legham's questions?
I was trying to, but I thought I was just saying it then, and that was the response that I got, so.
Especially the question, excellent. So there was not a single one that missed out.
Well, I wasn't sure about arguing your views on whether it always rains in Manchester.
She thinks it always rains in Manchester.
No,
Is it raining today?
No.
I'll see a lovely sunny day outside personally.
In your face.
That's not like tropical to me.
In your face.
Well, you can still argue your views on why people say it always rains in Manchester.
We've got 6 for 6 in this one as well.
Oh, I'm sorry, you can't even spell properly.
It's the thing, if you can't find any problems.
Has the wrong tense, right?
So stop questioning our word
There was some
choice.
infelicities of spelling. And
Have you seen what time it is?
Stop questioning.
but otherwise, I think they did
Always sounds
very
good.
well,
That's what sounds.
considering everything and the time of day. I think we all did. We've all done it well.
Especially missing the letter P.
Get off your horse. Calm down.
There is no excuse for this, regardless.
Come in, yeah.
Unless you are in Manchester and that's how you ask somebody to come over. Perhaps. That's about as Manchester as I get.
Spanish and you want something to eat.
What we're going to do is like say some of what.
Stop here, please, ladies and gents. We can move on, please, ladies and gents. We can get you all home. No.
Sorry, miss.
Oh, assault. That's defiance and
Sorry, miss. Did you get that on camera?
Mr. Jackson, don't mind. Thank you. Okay, we're going to be looking at doing one final task. And in this task, we're going to be hoping that you can apply some of the knowledge you've taken from this and some of the skills to actually looking at a subject area of your own. So we'll be handing out in a moment from Miss Wilkinson, very similar to the sheet you've just got, but blank, no topic on there, for you to actually think about a subject area you're currently teaching or have done quite recently, and perhaps how that you could use these 6 questioning areas to think of a question for each of those sections for your topic. However, there is a 7th box on there which is for cross-curricular. We're hoping that after you've done the 6, if you can find a member of your table to actually swap this with and see if they can read what you've done and add a cross-curricular facet to it, to see that we're starting to think about how these areas can not just stand alone but start to incorporate other people's subject area. So for now, 1 for each section and a 7th as cross-curricular, please.
Sorry, mates. Yeah, I wasn't meant to be for somebody else. It was meant for somebody else. I can't do my work then.
Why is that so? No pen?
No pen, son.
It accidentally hit me.
Oh.
Shall we put him away now?
I'll clear them away, miss. You continue with the task. That's right. Thank you so much for your neatness. Always appreciated.
Subject.
What's wrong with it? Mixture of colours. This is not my area of expertise. I don't care if these are in vowels or not. I don't care if the room looks tiny that I'm being recorded in. Firstly, I don't care what that said on that piece of paper up there before.
It's a hat.
It's a hat? Oh, right, so why did somebody get the hat and not mine?
You made it.
Who did? That is quite apt, actually. I'll give it that.
Direction this is going.
Okay.
Remember.
You do one each or one together.
I ain't got one. Well, I'll do one with it.
Do you want me to pass you?
No.
Are you sure? I'll give you one so you've got it while you're planning.
I can't think
I'm
of
a
what I
blind
might
man.
remember in English.
Remember? A. It's for anecdote.
So you might get them
It's
to
for a
remember
fact, you know.
the idea of, if you're doing persuasive writing, a forest.
What is a forest?
An MPO.
It's a large area of trees.
No,
It's not.
it's the acronym. I think you'll find. And if you want me to wrap it now,
F
Phil,
is for what,
get
miss?
me a microphone.
F is for...
Fact, you know.
What you know.
That's all one
Sorry,
word,
there's a
by
rat.
the way.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
There's a
It
rat.
comes out.
trick here.
It comes out on special occasions.
Special occasions where there's lots of microphones and drunkenness.
We've provided the microphones, I can't provide the second one.
Quality.
Understanding.
It wasn't good enough a minute ago, was it? Alright. Where's yours? Not allowed to say that word. It's female dog. I like that article.
It's funny, isn't it? I do like, I've got a whole bank of them.
I really like it.
Just copy and pasted on the internet. It's so funny, Clark's. No, but James May ones as well. This one.
I reckon Louise's class will get it.
Yeah, I reckon so. Different exam there. Oh, literature, not
Jeremy
really.
Clark. They definitely get it.
Doing language, you need to do language revision with them.
Do that.
Sections of the Bloom's hierarchy on there, just for you to keep with you as a little bit of a reminder, and if you decide and you want to give it out to your faculty, just for you to photocopy as well. So there's 6 on there. I'm just not even turning around to that one.
Let you know about that.
I'm interested.
Well, myths, a lot of them are like creation myths and Pandora's box shows like the
You do analyse the effects
loads of other myths, like origin myths are big, extreme, like where
socio-economic factors on the travel and tourism industry. The same. You don't really do it.
So I'm doing, I think I'm doing a match one. Based on
for you. Yeah, well, what you found
This is about the one so really, it's going to help you on the evaluation.
Taught us the hair.
It's a little bit rich.
There's Boy Who Cried Wolf and Boy Who Cried Wolf. And then myths is just all about Pandora's box, she opens the box and all the evils in the world come out. Yeah, I know, I hate it. Trying to find a science question to do with myths, fables and fairy tales. Something to do with an origin myth where... Oh yeah. Disease comes out of Pandora's box.
So about how well, because it's obviously not from a frightening box.
Now you know we're now down to 1 in 3, you only have to test 1 in 3 rather than 1 in 5. The probability becomes a lot.
It wasn't a box, what was it?
It was a...
No, it wasn't. It was a, yeah, it was like an urn vase thing, yeah.
Why is it called Pandora's box?
Because it sounds better.
Because as well as stories with oral traditions get passed down through generations, Chinese whispers occurs and things get modified.
There you go, that's the real answer. But I liked your one better.
It's often a mistranslation.
You passed it around by the time you got to meet it.
God knows what it means.
Boxes flying all over the place.
Also, it's supposed to have a lock and a key because the husband had it round his neck. How do you have a lock on
30 more seconds to finish writing.